So hello everyone, welcome to this another video of Scale Up India. I'm Abhishek Verma and you are watching part 1 of our Maven series. Now in this part 1, we are just going to discuss why do we need a Maven. I'm not going to show you what is Maven or how does Maven works, but just why is Maven. Now some of you may say that for this, why do you need a video? I mean, I can just make a small short of less than 1 minute, or not even that. I can just go to any website and read out some of the statements and understand why do we need Maven. But as you know, the rules of our Scale Up India channel, we try to learn everything in a practical way. So here, first of all, I will be showing you a demo, which is not using Maven, and I'll show you what are the difficulties I will be facing in that. And in the upcoming videos of this series, we will be working with Maven commands and Maven projects with a real world project. So if you like the approach of this channel, then you just need to subscribe the channel, like the video, watch the whole video so that at least YouTube gets to know that yeah, the content is good, and yeah, just keep on watching the same. So let's get started. So as always, here we are in our Eclipse IDE, and this is my demo 1. So let's see. So this has been made with the help of JDK 17, and let's see what do we have in this demo. Now this demo is not made with the help of Maven. It's just a normal Java project, hence I'm showing you directly. Whenever we will be start with the Maven, I'll show you everything step by step. So in order to explain this, let me first of all go to this demo. And yeah, here we are using the same scenario of Petistaan. So if you have already watched a video series of jdbc, then you know everything about this Petistaan, and it is just a very basic part of that particular series. And in case if you don't know about Petistaan, then also you can keep on watching this video, because the main goal of this is Maven, not the jdbc or anything else. So here, as you can see, we are having a main method, and from there I'm calling this run method. Yeah. Now here I'm creating an object of owner service IMPL. So this service class I'll show you in some time, but as you know that whenever I will be starting up this code, so first of all this line will get printed, welcome to Petistaan. That is the name of our application, and then it is going to invoke this method of find all owners. From there we will be getting a list of owners which we will be printing here, and as well as the contents of this list. If anything wrong will happen, then the exception message will be printed here. So currently this is not a real world project, so I'm directly printing the exception message. In the real world, you may be printing some better message for the user. Now let's directly go to this find all owners, and for this let me go here. So this is my owner service. It's just an interface. It's a good practice to keep the interfaces also in your code instead of directly coding the classes. So as you can see, there is just a single method. Then let's go to this service IMPL, and this one is also simple. So from the service, I'm just calling the repository. Now some of you may say that why then this extra layer if there is no any important code? Because those of you have already watched our jdbc series, they know that in that particular series we have written a lot of code in this particular part, and here this is just a basic demo of Maven. So I just wanted to have a 3-layer architecture: the main demo, the service, and the repository, so that later on whenever you wish to enhance this code, you can do it very easily with the different layers. Now from here let's go to repository. That appears up here, the find all owners. And before going to this find all owners, the implementation, let me just show you how this owner DTO looks like, although there is no need for you to see that. So this is a very basic, so you can just say that there are some around 10 or 11 variables, and then some getter setters and the toString method. So it's a very simple one. Now here the gender and the pet type I'm using as enum, so those things are also available here. And besides this, if we go to our repository IMPL, so it's appearing here. So here what I'm just saying is, I'm just saying select star from owner underscore table. So this is the name of our table, and then I'm taking the help of database config class to get connection. Now what is this database config? So it appears up here. So here I'm just passing their driver name, the URL, the username, and the password. And why I'm doing it in a separate class, because maybe in that class later on I will be having multiple methods. I need the same thing again and again. So it's better to code it in a separate place. And also it is again a good practice not to keep all these things directly in your code, instead to keep them in your properties file. And how to read from that properties file? With the help of this properties config which we have made here. So I'm just taking a singleton instance of the properties config. Now if you know something about singleton, then you also know that there are various implementations. So this is one of the eager loading implementation of properties config, so that the moment I start the code, this class gets initialized and we can directly jump on to load this particular file. So this is the file in the resources folder here, the database.property. So whenever we are going to start our code, the file will be loaded and then our code is going to read all these particular values. And in case later on if you wish to change any of the values, so you don't need to change any of the Java class, which is the best part of it. And if you are making a college project or anything like this, so you should take care of all these things also in order to make your life simple. Now let's go back here. So this is properties config. I have explained it in detail in the jdbc series also. Here it doesn't matters much in the Maven, even if you don't know about this. Yeah. So let's go back to this repository ampere. So here I'm just creating a statement for reading the things, and then I'm just saying execute query. So whenever I will say execute query, it will take everything in the result set. So the whole logic of result set is again explained in the JDBC series explicitly. I'll give the link somewhere on the top in this video here, so you can watch the whole series anytime. But as of now, just complete this video first. So here what it will do is, it will read the data in this result set first, and then we need to convert the data from the result set to our owner DTU. Since multiple variables are there, so what I have done is I have made a separate class and reading all the variables from that result set to our owner DTO class. So I'm doing something like this, and this is again simple. Now let's go back, and if everything goes well, so it is going to return you the list. Otherwise it will just throw you some kind of exception, and that's again a dummy exception here. So I'm creating a custom exception as internal service exception. I don't want to throw the actual exception, so this also I have created something. So the main point of showing you all these things is so that you believe in me that this is something like a real world project. Here we have everything. We have exceptions, we have repository, we have the service layer, we have the mapper classes, and everything is available. And not only this, so let me close all of them. In the real world project, we are also going to test our code before deploying it onto the servers or in some kind of production environment. And for that there are various options. We need to write some test cases, and those are written with the help of JUnit. If you don't know, no worries. As of now, I'm not sure when you are watching this video, but currently on this particular date, I have not created a series on JUnit. So in future, if you will say I'll create one on that too, you can just tell me in the comment section. So let's go there. So this is the testing class for my repository. So here I'm just saying owner repository IMPL. I'm just saying find all owners, and then I'm just assuming that the list should not be empty. So that is my assumptions, and all these assertions and everything are a part of JUnit. So since our focus is not on JUnit, so I have just made it very simple. It's not completely as per the real time. So I'm just saying assertions ensure that the list is not empty. So that is the particular use case here. But what do you think? Will this code run or not? Now, if you know about Java, then you know that since this code is having some these red lines, which are because of the compile time errors, hence you can say the code is not going to. So for this, what do you think? What is required? And first of all, why do you think we are having these errors? So I hope that you have mentioned in the comment section if you know. So the reason for these errors is that this @test annotation and this assertions are not a part of main JDK and JRE, and these things are not available here. So they are not part of your main JDK, hence they are not available in any of these jar files. Now if they are not a part of this, which means we need to get them from somewhere outside, and then there are different ways. You can directly go to Google and you can say junit jar file, or you can go to MVN repository and from there you can say junit jar file. But the point is we are making usage of Eclipse. And in Eclipse, there is an interesting feature. Eclipse also knows that you are going to test your code. Hence, it is going to provide you the junit jar files directly whenever you are going to install the Eclipse. So we will be going here on demo, and here we'll go to this build path, configure build path, and here as you can see that currently we are only having JRE17 with us. There is no extra jar file. Now what we will do is we will click on this class path. Ensure that you click on this class path only, and from here we will just say add a library, because here we need to add the whole library as it is. So we'll just say add library, and here it shows that it can add all these libraries directly if you will ask. So here we will say junit, we'll say next, and here again it is going to show you different options. It shows you junit 3, it shows you this particular thing as junit 4, and it also shows you as junit 5. And as you know, we always write the code as per the latest version, so I'll go for junit 5 here, and it is directly available as a part of something in this particular location. Whenever you are going to download and install your Eclipse, it will automatically come along with this. So we'll just say finish here, and here I'll say apply and close. So now you can see it is a part of it, but currently it's not available here. So if I'll just close, okay, I'm not able to close this because this window is opened here. So let me say apply and close here first, and you see just junit 5 is also appearing here. And if I click, so you can see all these things are available to us, something here. Yeah, that's good. But it's not only junit. Beside junit also, within this library we are getting few more. Here we are getting something like open test, we are getting something like API guardian, we are getting this Hemcrest core also. And these we will say are the transitive dependency. So our code says that I need JUnit, but the JUnit further on says that for some of the operations, as of now we are not using them, but some of the operations, Hemcrest core and other things are also required. So hence we will say our code has a transitive dependency on Hemcrest core, not a direct but a transitive dependency. So let's just close this and try to resolve this. So here I'll just say control space, and it is coming the option. Here I'll say assertions, control space, and this assertions option is also coming. So let's select this. So now you see that I'm able to import all these things. And now after this, what should I do? So now there is no compilation error, and hence we are ready to run this code. But since if we have written all these things also, a particular test class, so let's try to run the test class first. So for this, what I will be doing is I'll just go to, where should I go here? So this one is the class test. So I'll click here and I'll say run as junit test. So this option of junit test will only come for this class because it is having @test annotation. So I'll go there and I'll execute. And currently, unluckily, my code is failing. Now why the code is failing? Because it says it is unable to get this particular driver, because this driver is not there. Yeah, and only is the driver issue, but we are not getting any error as such. Like I have mentioned about the drivers somewhere here, I guess, in the database config, that this is going to be my database driver which needs to be loaded, and the name I have provided here in the database properties. But still you see that it is showing me the error that you don't have any kind of driver. Now maybe you say that okay, there may be some kind of mistake from your JUnit. Why don't you try to run it directly? So let's do that too. So we'll click on this demo and we'll say run. And this also says the same, that okay, this driver is not available. Now since I have handled the exceptions in different ways, so it is just showing on the name only here, and also I have coded it here in this particular database config, so it is just showing it like this. Yeah, but that's not an issue. The issue is the driver is not available, and it is not even showing a compilation error. So it is showing the error at the runtime. Since I have handled, hence you can just see only a single line. If I will remove all my catch blocks here, all my handling here, it may show you some red lines also. And these are the runtime exceptions. Now in order to resolve this particular one, again what we need to do, we need to add the jdbc driver here. Yeah, and for this, unluckily there is no direct option from the Eclipse like we were having for the JUnit. So what should we do? We need to go to the Chrome browser here. So let's go there. Now the point is, again, I guess I have mentioned you earlier also, if you wish you can directly Google it out. So you can say MySQL jar file, something like this, and it will show you multiple options. Yeah, or the best way is not to Google it, because you don't know from which source, the validity of that particular source. So always better to go to mvnrepository.com. Here you will get almost all the jars which you need, until unless it is a very specific jar file related with your project only, in your company only. So you will get everything. So here we will just say MySQL and I'll say search. So when I say this, I'm getting this MySQL connector Java. It is a JDBC type 4 driver for MySQL. So let's select this, and it says the latest version is 8.1.0, which was released on July 18, 2023. So I'll just click there, and here currently I need a jar file. So in order to get the jar file, let's click on this jar, and it has started downloading as you can see, and it says it's done also. So it will be available in my downloads folder. So let's go there. So it's appearing here, but as a good practice, I don't like to keep my jar files here, and instead I would like to keep them in a separate location. So let me just copy, or let me just cut this and take it to a different location. So now I'm in a different location, and as you can see, this is the latest jar which I have downloaded today only on 19th of August. But beside this also, now I remember that yeah, there were few more jar files of MySQL which I downloaded earlier, that is 8.0.31, 8.0.33, and then this. So this is just like an unwanted thing I have done now, because it is going to consume my memory space. There are so many jar files, and the size is also not small. They are almost of 2 MB each. So it is taking up some my memory space. So that's a wrong part. But yeah, no issues as of now. Let's go to our Eclipse, and here let's try to add it here. So we will go back to this build path, configure build path. Let's say class path, and here this time it is not a library, it's just a jar file. So we'll say add external jars, and I need to go back to that particular location. So let me copy the location from here so that I can directly go. So I have copied the location, and let me pass out on the location here, and you can see the location exists. So I'll select the jar, I'll say open, and yeah, this is also available to me. I'll just say apply and close, and yeah, that's ready. So it's a part under referenced libraries, so it's appearing from there, and this is from D drive jars folder. Now if I try to run the code, let's see whether it will run or not. So it is running, but it says the database is unknown. Okay, I forgot to create the database and the table here, so we need to do that too. So for that, let me just quickly go to this database.sql here, say open with this particular one text editor, and here let me copy all these things. So I have copied, and let me go to my MySQL. So this is the one. The password is root here, and I'm here, and let me paste all these things here. So first of all, I'll say create this particular schema if it doesn't exist, and then try to use this. And now if I refresh here, so you can see the Petistaan is there. Now create this particular owner table also. So I'll just execute, and I'll refresh again. So this owner table also exists, and then I will say something like this. So currently you see it is empty. Yeah, but it's fine as of now. Let me try to run the code now. So now if I try to run the code, it will say there are 0 owners, And yeah, because our table is empty, so hence it is going to say there are 0 owners. If you wish to add the owners, so I'll provide you the code. You can open this data.sql, you can open it with the text editor here. Everything is available. Just select, paste it out here and execute. That I'll show in the next video, not here. So there I'll make everything ready. But as of now, there will be 0 owners for us, and that's not an issue. But the main point was that the difficulties which we faced here. Yeah. Now let's try to summarize these difficulties in our presentation. So now if we summarize the difficulties, that why do we need Maven? So the very first reason is that we were having something like compile time errors, and they were because of the missing dependency, and hence I need to get those dependencies on my own. Luckily it was just because of the JUnit, so Eclipse provided me. Otherwise the option would have been I need to go to Maven, and from there I need to download the jar file, keep it somewhere, and then add to my class path. The another issue is that there were some runtime exceptions also, and they were again because of the missing dependency. So we saw because of this particular MySQL jar file, and here we were getting something like class not found exception. So we can see that because of this missing dependencies, it can be a compile time error also, it can be a runtime exception also. And hence the main issue is that we need all the dependency before we start our code, and which is very difficult. So if you are working with a very big project, if it is something related with the Spring framework, or if it is related something with the REST thing, then you almost needs to download something like 50 dependency, which is a very big number if you're just working with a Java project. So that's a very big issue. Another issue is that there are something like transitive dependencies. I mean, while running the code, I know that my Petistaan depends on JUnit because I'm using something like test cases. So I just downloaded the JUnit jar. Luckily Eclipse provided me. Otherwise, if Eclipse won't provide, then what I will do? I will go to the Maven repository, I will just download the JUnit jar. But when I will run the code again it will throw me the error, because it will say that JUnit further depends on the hem crest. So in order to run my code, I need to basically download two different jar files, JUnit and hem crest also. So hence I will say my Petistaan is not having a direct dependency on hem crest, but an indirect, or I can say transitive dependency on hem crest. And similarly, this is just a very basic example. If you are making a big code or a big project, there will be many scenarios something like this where you will be having a transitive dependency. So we'll go to Maven, you will download one, then it will show you some different error. You will again go to Maven, you will download second, again a different error, and you may stuck up in a particular loop. And if it is something like 50 dependency, then we are almost gone as a developer. So it is going to take time in order to create such a project. Now the next problem is that generally we don't work in the project as a single person. There is a particular team. Now let's say three people are working, person A, person B and person C, and they are working on some particular web application. Now in that particular web application, every developer loves to work in a different IDE. The person A loves to work in the NetBeans, and there if you create a web application, it will give you a structure like this. The web.inf folder, the index.jsp and this web pages will be something available under your project like this. But if the same project you will create in your Eclipse IDE, then it will be available like this under the web content folder. And if the same thing if you will create in IntelliJ, it will appear like this. So all these are the web app applications only. Almost the code is same, but the structure is a little bit different. Now imagine that whenever all the developers are going to integrate their code, they are going to face the difficulties, because at the end they need to decide whose code they should keep. They can't keep all the three codes at the same time. So this is also a difficulty here, that they are not having a particular template. Yeah, so it's all about the template here. Now the next problem is that not all the developers stick to the same version of dependency. Like you just saw now, earlier I was having different versions of MySQL, and now when I ran the code, so I downloaded the latest version. So same thing is going to happen multiple times also. So let's say any our developer was working on 8.0.32 version of MySQL, but the Winnie is working on 8.0.33, which is the latest version on that particular date. Now in this particular scenario, again there will be a kind of an issue, there will be a kind of conflict, because person A will say I will use this version, B will say I will use this version, and it will be very difficult to communicate again and again which version they are going to use. They need to create some maybe a different kind of, what we say, a configuration or something like a documentation that which version needs to be used. Again, that is going to be a very difficult task here. I mean, it is just going to add a new task besides creating the code. Yeah. And the another issue is, so let's say even everyone says that okay, we will always use the latest version, but then what happens that your computer or your laptop is going to have multiple versions of the same file. It is, let's say that my computer, my laptop is having 8.0.31 also, 32 also, 29 also, 30 also. Yeah. Now you may say that okay, every time you can delete the previous versions. Yeah, that is fine. But what if my system is having multiple projects and there are some projects which need the older version? Yeah. So it is very difficult for me to maintain and for me to remember also. Again and again, if I will just keep on deleting blindly, then maybe next time if I'm working with a particular project which is using an older version and I can't upgrade, then again I need to download. So it is going to take some bandwidth also. Yeah. So all these are the various different issues here. Yeah. And the next and one of the last issue is that dependencies needs to be moved along with your code here. So let's say that Ini needs to upload the code on the GitHub so that Winnie can download from there. But the point is that Winnie again needs to download those dependencies. So imagine that now I have worked on this code and I will say that I will share the code with you so that you also can try the code. But before moving this code, what I will do is I won't move all the dependencies also, all those extra JUnit and the MySQL jar files, because otherwise the code is going to become so much big. Yeah. So whenever you are going to download the code, you will also get that particular compilation error and you will also get that particular runtime exception. And then again you need to do some particular amount of hard work in order to download those particular jar files. So that is one of the again drawback of not using Maven. So here we have seen almost 5 to 6 different drawbacks, and that too practically, not only just theoretically, that why we should go for a Maven. Now in the next video we will see that how Maven can resolve all these conflicts at the same time. And for that you just need to subscribe the channel first, so that whenever I will be releasing the video you get a notification and you can start watching that. And before that you need to do one more task, and the task is to go to the GitHub. I will provide you the link in my description section and download the code and see whether you are also facing everything or not. Yeah, as of now I'm not sure whether I will be uploading the jar files also there or not, but yeah, depending on the time I will try to upload everything so that you won't face any issue, or maybe in order to create the issue I won't upload them so that you download and you also face the issue. And then whenever we will be working with the Maven from our next video, I will be using the same scenario. So just go through the scenario, see everything. If you don't know about the JDBC, check out the videos of JDBC. By the time we will be creating another video of Maven, and see you in the next video guys. Thanks everyone.